For the past couple of years, the Infiniti brand has been on a huge product resurgence, and those upgrades essentially started with their best-selling model, the QX60, back in 2022. Well, for 2026, it's time for their bestseller to get its first round of updates, and today I'm here at a studio in New York City with this model. This is the first ever 2026 Infiniti QX60 Sport. It gets some styling upgrades that bring a little bit more of a youthful and an edgier design, and now that we're finally seeing the new refreshed QX60 in the sheet metal, let's go ahead and take a detailed first look. Now, before we get into the styling changes that Infiniti has done for 2026, let me go ahead and remind you guys what's going on underneath the hood. Now, technically in 2025, so last year, Infiniti actually replaced the old naturally aspirated V6 with the company's signature engine. It's a VC turbo, so it's a 2-liter turbocharged gasoline direct injection 4-cylinder with a variable compression turbocharger. Of course, Nissan and Infiniti introduced this technology in the Altima, I remember back in 2019. In this application, it makes 268 horsepower and 286 pound-feet of torque. It all goes out through a 9-speed automatic transmission, so that's right, Infiniti and Nissan has been moving away from the Xtronic CVT, replacing it with a 9-speed auto. The beauty about the Sport trim, along with the top autograph trim, is these models come standard with the company's intelligent all-wheel drive system. If you guys go for a base Pure or a Luxe trim, you can still get it with either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. We don't have any final fuel economy information just yet, and Infiniti didn't mention any kind of 0 to 60, but they did say that this vehicle does have one of the best towing capacities you're going to find in the 3-row luxury midsize segment at around 6,000 pounds. And the curb weight of this vehicle is right around 4,700 pounds, so it's a little bit lighter versus some of its rivals. If you guys are looking for an electrified option, unfortunately Infiniti doesn't offer that, but this new VC turbo is more fuel efficient versus the V6 that it replaces. But let's go ahead and close the hood here and talk about the exterior styling, because this is the first time that Infiniti is doing a sport trim for the QX60. If you guys remember other trims or other models like the Q50 sports sedan, they've had a sport trim for a while along with the old Q60 coupe. But as you can see here, for their best-selling model, they really wanted to inject some aggression to this car, make it look a little bit more youthful. And I think they've definitely accomplished that. There are some styling elements here that have been taken from the larger flagship QX80. You can see the grille has a new kind of design and texture in the actual insert. You also have this new Infiniti logo, which is illuminated. It kind of has a 3D design. There's a nicely integrated front camera system underneath the logo, and you can see the headlights are the company's signature full LEDs, which have an LED daytime running light, LED turn signal. It has a new LED DRL signature with more individual segments, which is kind of, again, mimicking what we saw in the new QX80, their flagship, and you can see the bumper is far more aggressive. First of all, this color is called Graphite Shadow. It pairs nicely with the dark chrome accents along with this front splitter, which is far more aggressive. It's gloss black. This is, again, a unique front fascia that's standard on the QX60 in the sport trim, which I think definitely makes this vehicle look a lot more youthful, and it just brings some nice design elements to the front, whereas before it was just a little bit too much chrome for my taste, but this I think is a kind of a good step in the right direction. Now, moving around to the side profile of the QX60, this is, again, just a refresh, but this is a mid-size crossover SUV with 3 rows, so its wheelbase is around 114 inches long, with an overall length of around 197 inches long. This is a little bit smaller versus some of its rivals like the Lexus TX, for example, which is around 5 inches longer. You can see the wheels. Infiniti has updated the wheels on all the trims, so you can take your pick between, again, the Pure, the Luxe, the Sport, which replaces the Sensory, and the Autograph. And all of them now have a 20-inch wheel, and they all have its own unique design. So as you can see on the Sport, you have this really intricate looking kind of black wheel, a gloss black wheel, which has like a triple 5-spoke design to it. It's a 20-inch wheel, like I said, riding on a 255 by 50 R20 tire. I am surprised that Infiniti didn't want to go to like a larger 21-inch wheel, but it looks good with the Graphite Shadow color. You can see the fender or the wheel arch trim here is unpainted, and it actually kind of goes good again with the Graphite Shadow color. And then if you look over here on the side mirrors, they are power folding, they're black painted, and you can see you can also add an option to get a black roof, which if you guys don't prefer a black roof, you can actually get a full paint finish as well. You can see the roof rails are also blacked out. This model also includes a panoramic sunroof, which is nice. The two-tone look is definitely a trendy design, but I think it actually looks good on the rest of the profile of this vehicle, especially when you come over to the rear where it kind of has that signature floating roof design that we've seen on so many other Infiniti products. products. And then coming over to the rear, you can see the company basically has cleaned up the design a little bit. Now you still get a full LED taillight design, which includes LED turn signals, LED reverse lights as well. The Infiniti logos back here have also been blacked out, which I really like. The spoiler, as you can see, is gloss black. It's nicely pronounced. Your rear window wiper sits here on the middle of the back window. And then you can see there's some new badging here. It says QX60S. The S, as you guys know, stands for sport. And then, of course, all-wheel drive. That's their all-wheel drive badge. It's standard equipment on the sport trims as well. Looking at the rear bumper, they've also cleaned this area up. Although I am surprised they didn't want to include some kind of integrated exhaust system. It would have looked nice to kind of have like 2 exhaust pipes sticking out. But again, compared to the pre-refresh model, which the bumper just looked a little bit more, I guess, ungainly from certain ends, I think this looks a little bit nicer. I think a lot of people are going to like the updated design. Now, in terms of the cargo area, you can see this is, again, a 3-row vehicle. And when you have the seats up, so I've got them down right now, a 3rd row seat is going to be standard. Infiniti says you have around 14.5 cubic feet of storage space when you have the 3rd row seats up. There is a little bit of underfloor storage over here. Actually, it's a pretty deep storage well, so this is a nice little bonus here if you want to hide some things, maybe put your groceries in here so they don't roll around. And then if you fold down the 3rd row, like we had so when I first opened this, you actually expand the cargo to around 41 cubic feet of space, which is pretty good. And if you fold down the 2nd row, which this vehicle only comes with captain's chairs, in the sport trim, you get a maximum of 75 cubic feet of space. So that's pretty class average in terms of space. Competitors like the new Lexus TX is going to offer around 20 more cubic feet of space maximum. But again, for those of you who are looking for, a slightly larger vehicle but isn't too big like the QX80, this vehicle represents kind of a nice middle ground for a lot of American families out there. So if you guys are looking for the ultimate version of the QX60, you're going to want to go for the new autograph trim, which technically the autograph has always been the top of the line version, but you can see there's this new badge here where they've taken this from the QX80 with the autograph script. It certainly adds a nice little detail, and also this color here is brand new for 2026. It's called Deep Emerald Green, and I have to say, I love how green is kind of making a comeback, and this is like a little bit of a subtle green. It's a dark green, but it looks great, of course, with the two-tone black roof, which is standard on the autograph trim. It has the black painted side mirrors as well. And then as you can see, the front fascia is slightly different versus what we saw on the sport trim level. You can see the grille kind of has more of that bamboo inspired look that we saw on the QX80. It's got a little bit of an less aggressive front splitter down here, but you still kind of have that black chrome, that dark chrome look, as opposed to the bright chrome that you can get on the other trims, along with that illuminated three-dimensional Infiniti logo. The headlights are, of course, the standard full LEDs with those the new lighting signature as well. And let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of this color. I actually think it looks fantastic. Infiniti says that they won't offer this on the sport trim, but I hope that they'll change that at some point, because I think it would look good with the more aggressive design of the sport. The wheels on the autograph are also a different design. You can see they're a 20-inch wheel, same size with tires at 255, but they have that kind of nice two-tone look where it kind of matches the dark chrome that you see along the rest of the actual proportions of the vehicle. But let's go ahead and hop inside the interior, because there are some big changes that I want to talk about as well that Infiniti has done. Now, first of all, this color is new for 2026. It's called Stone Gray, and this is the only trim that gives you the full semi-aniline leather, which has its own unique quilting design with some contrast stitching, some kind of this bronze piping as well. And I have to say, these seats look amazing. They look like they were pulled out of a much more expensive car. The seats also adjust in, I believe, 14 different ways. They are heated, ventilated, and massaging. And as you can see, there's also these new headrest speakers, because this trim adds 4 additional speakers in the headrest for a total of 20. And this is their newest Klipsch audio system. So this is kind of, again, taking the technology that we've seen in the new QX80, applying it into this vehicle. But in terms of the rest of the interior, you can see things are pretty much the same in terms of the design, but Infiniti has updated the software. Now, first of all, the interior materials, you can see beautiful soft touch injection molded plastic with some actual stitching there. You have the open pore black ash wood. They have some real metal trim for the door handles as well. Nice padded leather over here. The window controls have that really high quality feel to them. They are one touch for all 4, along with the metal speaker accent covers. Down here it is hard touch plastic, but it has some really nice soft leather over here. The steering wheel is also new. It's got the new 3-dimensional logo with a flat bottom design, and every version of the QX60 will now include the fully digital instrument cluster. So you have a dual 12.3-inch displays. Previously, the pure trim had a combination of an analog and a digital. All of them will have the larger 12.3-inch display, but it now has Google built in. So this is, again, their latest software that we first saw on the QX80, so it's great to see it on this vehicle here. It does, of course, now have the Google Maps built in. It also has some new map views or camera views as well, so you can see the full 360 camera is included on the upper trims. You have the full three-dimensional view as well, where you can kind of do a perimeter scan around the vehicle. And I have to say the graphics and the resolution quality are top-notch. This is a big improvement versus the earlier versions of this car where it had the older software. It does, of course, have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well. And while I am a little sad that they didn't want to give this the bigger 14-inch display in the QX80, remember this is kind of, one notch down the tier, so there's a couple of tech features that Infiniti had to save for their flagship. Now you can see more of that open pore wood as well, but you have the metal inlays for the autograph trim, a soft touch injection molded plastic with some stitching there, along with some quilted leather over here with some actual stitching that goes with the piano black. You can see this panel over here. I appreciate how Nissan and Infiniti are still doing actual touch buttons here, where they're buttons, but they're touch sensitive buttons. You can see there's a dual zone climate control system for this car, heated and cooled seats, of course. Your wireless phone charging pad is there, along with your shifter to control the 9-speed auto. Your drive mode selector is here. This basic area hasn't really changed much, but I appreciate how, again, there's not much piano black plastic here, which would get scratched or would get dirty. There's a nice padded center console area here, and if I open that up, you can see decent amount of storage. There's your 12-volt power outlet, along with your 2 USB-C charging ports where the wireless phone charging pad is. Now these seats are also really comfortable and supportive. I love, again, how plush the semi-aniline leather is, and you'll also probably notice there's a little bit of an asymmetrical pattern here. So you can see on this side it's got a different design for the quilted stitch, whereas on this side it's got like a cross stitch. So this is kind of a nod to their Japanese heritage, which I think is a nice little detail. The speakers, I have to say, do look a little funny. They almost look like ears on the actual head restraints, but this is, again, if you guys are taking a phone call, you'll be able to hear directly in your head what the person is talking to you about if you're on a Bluetooth phone call. Above me, you can see the panoramic sunroof is standard on all trims, Infiniti says, which is a nice feature that a lot of manufacturers make you pay extra for. There's a woven material here, along with some LED lighting and some LED interior accent lightings, which I'll have to show you at another point. So overall, the interior hasn't really changed much in terms of the design, but I appreciate the new gray interior here with the two-tone look, and of course the updated software within the infotainment system. Let's go ahead and hop into the backseat area. I can show you guys what that space is like. Now, as you can see on the autograph trim, it also includes the captain's chairs as standard, which means this model here does seat, I believe either 6 or 7, it depends. I can't remember if this actually sits 3 across in the back, but as you can see, the captain's chairs over here basically are almost as spacious as the front seat area. These seats are also heated, which is nice. Although they are not ventilated, they do offer, or some manufacturers do offer that. The one thing I wanted to mention, this center console here previously would allow you to remove this. However, if you guys go for a tech package that has their new ProPilot 2.1, some of the software for that hands-free driving is included or is kind of mounted in this area, so this is not removable. If you don't get the tech package, that little console will still be removable, just like in the pre-refresh model. But as you can see, get back here, shut the door. There's about 37.7 inches of legroom, which is not class leading, but it's a good amount to get comfortable. For somebody my height at 5'7", there's good foot space. There's a completely flat floor here in the center, which is nice. You have your 3-zone climate control here, along with your 2 USB-C charging ports, an actual 12-volt power outlet, which is nice. You have 2 storage cubbies in each of the seat backs. And then you can see, unlike the QX80, the QX60 actually includes rear sunshades, which is something that the flagship should have, but I like to see that it's here at least. There's nice padded leather, of course, with real stitching, and nice padded area over here with more metal and that black ash wood, along with the metal accented speakers as well. The windows back here also one touch up down, so it's one touch for all 4, which is really nice. And overall, you can see the second row is certainly a great place to spend time. I just wish that Infiniti would have added cooled seats, especially for the top autograph trim here. But let me go ahead and show you guys the third row. Now, to get back there, there's a little button that you can push at the front right there. And as you can see, the third row, which actually only seats 2 across, so this model here is a 6-seater, as you can see. Infiniti says there's around 28 inches of legroom back here, which 28 inches is definitely on the small side, so that's where some of the newer competitors offer a little bit more space. But for somebody my height at 5'7", let me move the seat back. This is actually not bad. So this is not with the seat all the way back, but I could actually sit here on shorter trips. There are third row air vents, which is something that you can't say about the Acura MDX. You have a USB charging outlet here. You have 2 cup holders, along with a nice sized window back here to keep you from feeling a little too claustrophobic. The actual foot space is not bad. The floor is lower than I expected it to be. There's no like armrest or any kind of storage here. There's like a little bit of little area right here. I would have liked it if Infiniti gave us like an armrest. There's actually space to fit a third row or a third passenger here, but again, Infiniti decides to make this a 6 up to a 7-seater only. But so overall, again, if you plan to use this as a family vehicle, the QX60 can certainly do so. Just remember that some competitors offer a little bit more space in the actual third row. Now, with just under 28,000 units sold in America last year, the QX60 was the company's best-selling model here in America. So obviously, this is a very important vehicle for Infiniti. After seeing the revised 2026 version in person, I have to say there are some very nice changes here, because the pre-refresh model was already a very strong entry in the mid-size three-row luxury segment. And I think Infiniti has definitely just taken things to the next level. I really appreciate the new sport trim, which is trying to attract a little bit of a younger buyer with its more aggressive design. But I also really like the autograph trim here with the new wheels, with the deep emerald pearl color, the upgrades to the interior with that stone gray color. I think this is definitely a really stylish looking vehicle that has definitely gotten better with age, I think. So really, if you guys are looking for this particular class of vehicle, there are a lot of great choices out there, but Infiniti has definitely made this one a lot more appealing. Now, if you guys are looking to get your hands on the 2026 QX60, you're gonna have to wait until this summer. Infiniti says it'll be rolling into dealerships sometime again in the summertime, and they'll announce pricing as we get closer to that on sale date. For now, unfortunately, we're gonna have to just speculate, because the current 2025 model starts at just over $50,000. That was for the base pure version. All-wheel drive again was an option. The Sensory, which this trim essentially, or the Sensory, which is what the sport trim essentially replaces, is gonna be one notch below the autograph. This autograph trim here, if I had to estimate, is probably gonna be just under $70,000. But again, we'll know that as we get closer to the on-sale date. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my very detailed overview on the fully revised 2026 Infiniti QX60. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.